Jersey's race for governor is heating up. Democrat Mikey Sherrill and Republican Jack Ciattarelli will face off again in their second debate tomorrow night. The first matchup touch on everything from political violence to the cost of living. Joining us now, Kristoffer Shields, professor and director at the Eagleton Center on the American Governor. Good to see you with us. How are you, sir?
Great to see you. I'm doing well. How are you, Chris?
So the first debate got heated very quickly. So what stood out most about how each candidate handled themselves in that first matchup?
Yeah, I thought the first debate was really interesting. I think I'd call it sort of controlled aggressive. Like you said, they did go after each other. Most of the lines they used were versions of things that we had heard before. I think both candidates in that first debate were kind of feeling things out a little bit. It's a complicated political moment that was fairly early in the race. And I think they were trying to get a sense of how far they could go with each other, not make a big mistake. And I thought they both did a pretty good job of that, actually, in the first debate, getting through it.
So safe to say that first one was kind of like a feeling out. Let's kind of gauge the temperature of the room. And now, depending on what poll you look at, this is a very, very tight race. So now, in the second debate, probably need to make a little bit more of an impact, land a couple of punches here and there. Not necessarily negative ones, but you've got to actually make some points that resonate with your voters. Do you expect any type of shift in that direction in tone or strategy from these candidates?
Yeah, I think probably more in tone than strategy at this point, but it's a very different point in the race right now. We are exactly, 4 weeks until Election Day. So this really is the moment if you're going to sort of start to get more aggressive, if you're going to push a little bit harder. I think, like you said, both candidates are seeing this as a close race. So I think tomorrow night you'll probably see them get a little bit more aggressive, go after each other. The themes will be similar. You'll still hear Mikey Sherrill try to tie Jack Ciattarelli to Donald Trump. You'll hear Jack Ciattarelli try to tie Mikey Sherrill to Phil Murphy. But they'll go at it a little bit more aggressively and I think start to make the positive case for themselves and what it is that they'll do as governor of New Jersey. I think you'll start to see more of that in the debate tomorrow night.
And when do we see kind of like that shift where it's a little bit more like what I as a candidate, if you vote for me, this is what I am going to do for you, rather than the attack politics we see at every level of government right now, which, again, you can only kind of play in the mud for so long before you get too dirty.
Yeah, and I hope that we see it soon. I think that we should see it starting tomorrow night. I will say in their defense that it's hard in a debate because you only get a couple minutes for each question. You're trying to cover a wide variety of debates. But what they can do tomorrow night is really sort of lay the foundation, lay the groundwork for what the argument that they want to make over these next 4 weeks. This is the beginning of maybe not the stretch run yet, but it is the beginning of the end of this race. So they are running out of time to make that positive case for what will I do as governor of New Jersey? What is it that I'm going to do that will be different than my opponent, that will help the people who live in the state of New Jersey? I think that's the argument that they have to at least start making tomorrow night, and then they can build on that as they move out of the debate.
And you would think affordability, if you do live in the Garden State, would be first and foremost, and that would be a point you would need to drive home, not once, twice, but maybe for the entire debate. You think that's the approach? Because, again, those of us who have grown up in the Garden State, we know, I mean, whether it's property taxes, car insurance, whatever, it becomes almost unlivable after a while.
Yeah, it's the number one issue of the campaign, without a doubt, is affordability. And there's sort of a big package of issues that surround that. I think you've seen the candidates sort of take the first step in that process. They've made the case that they understand that affordability is important. You've seen utility bills be an important issue in this race, taxes. What I think we haven't seen yet from either candidate is a broader sense of sort of a vision for the future of New Jersey in terms of affordability. How do all of these pieces fit together, and what are you going to do to make New Jersey a more affordable state? Not just a sort of one-time tax cut or not just freezing utility bills. What is it over the next 4 years that you can do to change some of the structural issues that make New Jersey an unaffordable state in some ways? I think that's what we need to start to see tomorrow night, and I think that would be a really powerful argument for people, for voters, if they get a sense that they can be confident that one of these candidates is going to do that.
It'll be interesting to see, that is for sure. Kristoffer, thank you very much. Great to see you once again. Kristoffer Shields, professor and director at the Eagleton Center on the American Governor. We thank you for taking a few moments for us.
Thank you. Anytime.
We'll have you back on afterwards. We'll see. We'll do the postmortem and see how it went. All right. The second New Jersey